All right, hi everyone. I'm McKenna. This is just going to be a 30-minute hip opening flow. So it will be a vinyasa class. No, you're always more than welcome to skip any vinyasas if you don't want to do them. So do your best. And this is especially for a few of our students at Dharma have requested hip openings because they've been running, which is so awesome. And a lot of us have also been sitting. So we all could use some hip love in this time. So we will get started in Supta Baddha Konasana. So laying to your back. Soles of the feet will touch, knees will go wide. Bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. And just settle into your space. Begin to turn in, setting your focus on your breath. Just beginning to lengthen the breath. So we'll start with Samavriti, just an equal part breath. So lengthening the inhale, the pause when the lungs are full, the exhale and the pause when the lungs are empty. Maybe bringing each one up to a count of 4, 5, or even 6. And as we begin to deepen and lengthen the breath, just noticing the sensations of the breath in the body. Yoga is the calming of the fluctuations of the mind. So we practice creating a space for alignment of the body, breath, and the mind. And that just starts with our awareness. So as you shift awareness inward, just noticing the rise and fall of your belly and your heart as you breathe. But even here in stillness, prana is moving. We have our little subtle pulses of life, of movement in our body. If you like to set an intention for practice, you can do that now. Anything to supplement your time on your mat today. So maybe that's some sort of positive affirmation or a goal you'd like to set. So inhales, welcome our practice. And exhales, release anything off of our mat for the next about 30 minutes. So take a few breaths to arrive here in your practice. On your next inhale through the nostrils, fill up, pause at the top. Open your mouth, let it go. Again, deep inhale through the nostrils, fill up. Open your mouth, let it go. Last time, full deep inhale. Open your mouth, release. Now seal your lips. We'll come into our pranayama practice, Ujjayi. So inhales and exhales through the nose. Finding the audible quality of your breath, breathing from the belly, using that constriction in the throat, like you're fogging a window with your lips sealed. This is also known as the victorious breath or the conscious breath, because it helps us to drown out the thoughts. So as the mind inevitably wanders, just come back to the sensations of the breath, the texture, the temperature, and the sensations in your body. As we quiet the mind, we'll begin to awaken the body. Inhale your arms overhead. Point your toes long as you extend your legs. Maybe get out any pops or cracks of the fingers, toes, wrists, and ankles. Then exhale, hug your knees into your chest. Check in on the low back, maybe rock from side to side. Then take hold of just your right knee. Let your left leg go long. So left foot just comes to the bottom of your mat. Hug your right knee up towards your right armpit, so to the outside of your right ribs. This is layer 1. You can stay right here. Layer 2 will extend our right leg straight. Flex your toes towards your face. Layer 3, if you want some more, you can reach your right hand to your right foot. Maybe take your right peace fingers to your right big toe. So our knee may still be bent, our leg could be straight with our hands underneath our thigh or calf, or Supta Padangusthasana, right peace finger to right big toe. Wherever you're at now, we'll find an external rotation, so right leg goes right. Try to keep both sits bones to the mat. Then exhale, guide your right leg all the way across the body. Use the left hand to guide it across the body for a supine twist. So the right shoulder blade is gonna wanna lift. Keep it to the mat. And maybe you keep that right leg straight. Now the left hand has a hold of the right foot. Come back through center, hug both knees into your chest. Realign in your spine, and then we'll switch sides. Left leg hugs into your armpit, to the outside of your ribs. Squeeze the hands as they interlace on the left shin. And again, same options. You can stay right here. You can lengthen the left leg, flexing the toes to the face with your hands interlaced underneath your left thigh or calf, or left peace fingers reach up to left big toe. Whichever shape you're in, that's perfectly fine for right now. It's just listening to your body. Wherever you are now, we'll find that external rotation. So maybe the left knee is bent, maybe the left leg is straight. Right sits bones stays grounded to the mat. Then exhale, guide the left leg across the body for your supine twist. So left shoulder blade will stay on the mat. Back through center, both knees to the chest, hands under thighs, begin to rock and roll forward and back, the length of your spine. Eventually rocking into a tabletop, hands and knees. So crossing the shins, planting the hands, however you'd like to get there. Stack the joints, so wrists and elbows under shoulders, knees under hips, neutral spine. And then with your spine neutral, just lift the belly button up and in and knit your lower ribs together. So finding that core lock, Uddiyana Bandha. We keep this bandha engaged for the rest of our practice. Then inhale, cow pose. Belly drops, heart opens. Exhale, cat, spine rounds, press the mat away. Inhale, cow, chin and tailbone lift. And exhale, cat, spine rounds, chin and tailbone tuck. Keep moving like this. Pace is determined by your breath, so no rights or wrongs. Entire length of the inhale brings the heart to open. Entire length of the exhale brings the spine to round. Twice more. On your next inhale, come back through center, neutral tabletop. We'll take bird dog pose. Extend your left leg back and your right fingertips forward. So long line of energy from the left heel as you flex it to your right fingertips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tap right elbow to left knee under the body. Inhale, lengthen and hold. And then let's send the right hand right and the left foot left. Good, release your right hand back to the mat and then your left foot back to the floor in line, just here so you can see, in line with your left hip. So we're loading into the pinky edge of our left foot as it sits in line with the left hip. So the left leg is straight. You can stay right here if that's enough for your hips and hamstring, or you can begin to walk the hands forward. Either you melt the heart forward for Anahata Asana variation. So we're melting the heart forward like a puppy dog pose, keeping the hips stacked. Or if that's a lot on your spine, you can lower to your forearms. Maybe you lower all the way down to your chin if you're feeling pretty open. So lots of options. But the most advanced yogis are just the ones that are listening to your own body. So no more than just that. This is just all about our breath in our body. Good, we'll come back to neutral tabletop, hands and knees. And we'll just switch sides. So right foot comes back, left fingers forward. Flex that right heel, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tap. Elbow to knee, round the spine. Little core engagement. Inhale, lengthen and hold. And then send that left hand left, right foot right. Take a moment to hover. Then left hand comes back under left shoulder. Right foot seals out in line with the right hip. Loading into the outer right edge of your right foot, keeping the hips stacked. Maybe you stay here, maybe you find whatever variation you did on the other side. So sending the hands forward, either heart melts, chin lowers, forehead lowers, forearms lower, lots of options. So breath and awareness is in the hips and the hamstrings. We'll come back through center, tabletop pose. And let's press back into a child's pose. So big toes touch, and since this is a hip opening practice, we're gonna bring the knees out really wide. So make this a little more active. Forehead lowers to the mat. So as the big toes touch and you send the knees wide, we're loading into the hips. So maybe you lightly press your mat away from your hands. Good, walk your hands forward, tuck your toes, send your hips high, downward dog. First dog of the practice, so take some movement, maybe bend one knee at a time, maybe take little twists, gazing at the ceiling from underneath one armpit and then switching sides. Inhale, plank pose, shoulders over wrists. So you shouldn't be making too much of an adjustment there. Exhale, down dog. Inhale your right leg high. Exhale, knee to nose. Shoulders over wrists, little core engagement. Re-extend, inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, right foot steps between the hands. Left knee lowers, Anjaneyasana. So as you inhale, we'll extend the arms overhead. So feeling that left hip flexor open. Now our engagement mostly is in that left hip. So the right foot placement isn't super important right now. Draw shoulders away from the ears. Exhale your hands to the mat, frame your right foot, then tuck your left toes, lift your left knee. Easy twist, open heart crescent. Left hand plants, right arm extends. So imagine you can sink your hips lower by bending that right knee and then send some energy into your left leg. Lift your left kneecap up into the leg, squeezing muscle to bone. Exhale, your right hand comes back down to the mat and step left foot up to meet right. Forward fold. Uttanasana, so the crown of the head reaches towards the earth. Inhale, half lift, flat spine, fill the lungs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms sweep all the way overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, draw hands to heart. So settle into your Tadasana mountain pose, growing tall out through the crown of the head, drawing shoulder blades down and back towards the back of the heart. Inhale your arms overhead. Exhale, hinge up the hips, flat back, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, bring your left knee with you when you stand up. Ekapada Tadasana, half staff. Exhale, warrior three. Float the left leg back in line with the spine. So lots of options here, but we want to keep our heart lifted. So if you're coming down to blocks or to support yourself with your fingertips on the floor, we'll keep the heart lifted. So wherever we gaze, that's the direction we're going to head. So instead of looking down at our toes or at our mat, just lift the gaze a little bit so the heart can be lifted and we can keep our balance. Maybe you draw hands to heart, airplane the arms, or extend them out in front of you, whatever serves you, keeping our balance. Exhale, standing split. Your hands frame the right foot, send that left heel a little bit higher. Iron out any bend you may have in the left leg, but you can certainly bend into the right. Light step back with the left foot brings you back to your low lunge. Inhale, plank pose. Vinyasa, exhale, lower halfway, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, back bend, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, down dog, roll over the toes, send the hips high. Inhale your left leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Re-extend, inhale. Exhale, step it between the hands. Right knee lowers, arms overhead as you inhale, Anjaneyasana. It's the same thing. Try to reconnect to Uddiyana Bandha. So come back to that core lock. Shoulders draw away from the ears. Exhale your hands to frame that left foot. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee. Easy twist, open the heart. Right hand plants, left arm extends. So we're drawing right shoulder away from the right ear. Left kneecap up and in to engage that left quad. Sinking into that left knee, could you bring the hips a little lower? Good, exhale, left hand back to the mat. Right foot steps up to meet left, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms overhead, sweep up, look up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, draw hands to heart. Recommit to your breath and your intention. Arms overhead, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand up, bring the right knee with you, standing up into Ekapada Tadasana, one leg mountain pose. Exhale, warrior three, right leg floats back in line with the spine. So whatever shape you did on the other side, finding that unmoving focal point to commit to your drishti. And the left hip is plugging up and the right hip is plugging kind of down. So an internal rotation of the outer right hip. So we're square in the hips and shoulders and the low back. Keep breathing. Standing split as you exhale, hands frame the left foot, send that right heel a little bit higher. Light step back to our runner's lunge here. So framing the left foot. Vinyasa, inhale, plank pose. Exhale, lower half or all the way, Chaturanga Dandasana. Knees always welcome, modify whenever you wish. Inhale, back bend, Bhujangasana or upward facing dog. And exhale, down dog, roll over the toes, send the hips high. Good, inhale, your right leg lifts. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Re-extend, inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, right foot steps between the hands. Then seal the left foot for warrior one. Inhale your arms overhead. So to start, we can also bring hands to hips if that feels good for you. So arms are kind of just ornaments in this shape. They're nothing really important. This is more about our hips here. So the right hip is plugging back into the hip socket, left hip forward. So that squareness in the hips and in the shoulders. Loading into the pinky edge of your left foot. Maybe you extend your arms overhead, right knee stacked over right ankle. Exhale, warrior two. Left toes pivot open. Right knee stacks over right ankle. Find your adjustments. We're still loading into the pinky edge of the left foot, and the right knee is kind of opening towards that right pinky toe. Exhale, side angle. Right elbow to right knee, left arm extends. So check in you're loading into your right shoulder. Can you lengthen your spine, draw right shoulder away from the ear? Fullest expression here. Maybe you bring your right hand to the floor, to the inside of your right foot. Inhale, reverse warrior. As you reverse, straighten that right leg. So we're in a reverse triangle. Exhale, triangle pose, Trikonasana. So we're hinging the left hip back, the right fingertips forward, and finding our shape here. So we're not compromising depth for shape. This is more about the alignment. Imagine you can lean back onto a wall. So we want toes, ankles, knees, and hips, shoulders all in line. Inhale, reverse warrior. Come back to the bend in that right knee. Right arm comes up and overhead. Stay committed to the bend in the right knee. Exhale, hands cartwheel to frame the right foot. Vinyasa. Or skip it. Your choice. We'll meet back in a down dog. Good. Settle back into your shape in your down dog. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Re-extend, inhale. Exhale, left foot steps between the hands. Seal the right foot and we'll find warrior one. So again, hands may come to hips or to your heart, whatever helps you to visualize and execute that squareness of the hips and shoulders. And this is a pretty deep hip opener. I'm going to switch sides so you can see. So if you want to come into this in a more challenging posture, you can bring your heels in line with one another, or to make this a little more accessible for your hips, you can inch your left foot left and your right foot right. So feet are kind of in line like they're on railroad tracks instead of in a single line. Maybe you extend arms overhead. Exhale, warrior two. So right toes pivot open just a teeny bit more. Find your alignment. Exhale, side angle, left elbow to left knee, right arm extends overhead. Recommit to the bend in that left knee. Can you sink your hips a little lower? Come back to the pinky edge of your right foot. Maybe you take extended side angle, left hand comes down to the inside of the left foot. Maybe extend right arm all the way overhead to the front of your room. Inhale, reverse warrior. As you reverse, straighten that left leg. And exhale, triangle pose. So finding your adjustments, I like to inch my back foot in just a little bit. Right hip back, left hip forward. Find your alignment. Gazing at the floor will always bring more stability. Lifting your gaze will bring a little more of a challenge. Inhale, reverse warrior. Come back to the bend in the left knee. Left arm comes up and overhead. Stay committed to that bend. Stay here for the inhale. And exhale, cartwheel hands, vinyasa. Hands frame that left foot, step back to plank. And flow or skip it. Meeting back in a downward dog. Good, let's lower both elbows at the same time, or attempt to. It's kind of challenging here. We'll come into dolphin pose. So forearms in our down dog. Inhale your right leg high. Try to keep the hips square. Exhale, lower that right leg. Inhale, three-legged dog with your left. Send that left foot high. Exhale, lower it. And child's pose. Knees lower, big toes touch. So you choose what's next for you here. You can stay here in child's pose if you are ready for a little bit of a rest. And the rest is just as necessary, just as important in the practice. So before we keep flowing, you're welcome to stay right here in child's pose. Or I always like to include an opportunity to invert in my classes. So if you have any inversion practice and you want to get upside down, now's a good chance. You can come back to dolphin pose. Maybe spend some time lifting one foot at a time and kicking up into any sort of forearm stand, or also hands can interlace to cradle the head. And you can find from dolphin a tripod headstand by inching your toes closer to your head. Maybe you lift one foot at a time. Maybe you lift both. Your choice, or you're hanging out in child's pose. So we're gonna be here for 5 more breaths. Your choice. So if you're here for the hip opening, then maybe you're just hanging out in child's pose with your knees wide and your forehead lowered. And we'll all meet in a child's pose, so about 2 more breaths. Down dog as you exhale, tuck your toes, send your hips high. Inhale, your right leg lifts. Bend your knees, stack your hip open. Maybe make some circles with the knee, with a bent or straight leg. 3-legged dog, re-extend that right leg, inhale. Exhale, step up between the hands. Warrior 1, seal that left foot, extend the arms overhead. Hands interlace at the low back. Inhale, squeeze palms and shoulder blades together, baby back bend. Exhale, humble warrior. Hinge at the hips, bow to the inside of your right leg. So we're thinking about squeezing your palms and shoulder blades together, crown of the head's reaching towards the earth. Keep loading into the outer edge of your left foot and keep bending that right knee. So more of a bend in the right knee will bring crown of the head closer to the earth. Good, let's release hands to the inside of our right foot and turn onto the ball of our left foot. So we're in a lizard lunge. You can stay right here, maybe you lower your left knee for something a little more passive. If you want a deeper stretch, you can come down to forearms. Lots of options from lizard here. So you can either lower to forearms, maybe you keep your left toes tucked, left knee lifted in forearms for a little more of an activating stretch. I like to ground into my left hand and kind of push my right knee open for a nice hip opener that way. Rolling onto the pinky edge of my right foot, which is totally okay here. So your choice. We'll be here for 3 rounds of breath. On your 3rd exhale, we'll lay the right shin down and take a pigeon pose. So if this is a lot, if you know you don't like pigeon, you can lay to your back and take a figure 4 stretch by bringing your right ankle to your left knee. Otherwise, if you're with me in pigeon, we can lay that right shin down. So to come deeper into pigeon, we can bring the right foot closer up towards the upper left corner of your mat. Use an exhale to melt and fold over that right leg. Breath is in the hips. And imagine your exhales can soften you into this shape. So our deep inhales and exhales bring us deeper into our poses. And the breath is the teacher here. So if you're holding your breath, you may need to adjust where you are in this shape. And as we move into more still poses, we practice mindfulness. We're just present with our breath and the sensations in our body, noticing where the mind goes without judgment, and then just coming back to the breath. Bring your hands back under our shoulders as you're ready. Tuck your left toes. Float your right leg back up to the sky. 3-legged dog. Take any counter movement that calls out to your body here. I like to take a wild thing by flipping over. My right foot comes to the floor, be on the left side of the mat. Hips go high, heart opens. Gaze at the right hand as it falls in front of your face. And we'll all meet back in a downward dog. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, step it between the hands. Warrior 1, as you inhale, arms come overhead. Find your adjustments. Hands interlace at the low back. Take your inhale, palms and shoulder blades squeeze together, baby back bend. And exhale, hinge at the hips. Humble warrior. Crown of the head reaches towards the earth. Nice deep bend in that left knee. Keep breathing. And hands release to the inside of your left foot. Pivot onto your right ball of the right foot. Maybe you stay here in lizard lunge. Find whatever you took on the other side. Or if your body's asking for something different, then do that. So Our bodies aren't symmetrical, and that's totally okay. So whatever, your left hip may ask for something different than the right. So just do what feels good, intuitively feeling into the body. And again, we'll come back to that svadhyaya, or self-study and stillness, existing in our body, breath, and mind in alignment. 3 more breaths. Pigeon pose. Lay that left shin down, find your adjustments. Make your way to figure 4 if you did that on the other side, or maybe your left hip allows you pigeon, that's great too. Use an exhale to fold over that left leg. We'll be here for 5 more rounds of breath. Hands come back under shoulders as you're ready, and certainly you can spend more time here, especially at home. Just take a pause in the video, tuck your toes, lift your left leg, take your counter movements as you did on the other side. Maybe flip it over, find your balance. And then exhale back to your down dog. Bend your knees and look forward, step or hop to your hands, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale your arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's heel toe our feet out quite a bit. Heels and toes out. We'll move right into Malasana from here. So arms overhead as you inhale. Sit into your yogi squat as you exhale. So elbows open, the knees. Lengthen your spine, openness in your heart. Go taller out through the crown of your head. Imagine you can lift energy from the root of the spine out through the crown of the head. This is super grounding and aligning shape. And exhale, sit back onto your butt. Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet touch. Take an inhale, lengthen in your spine. And exhale, hinge at the hips. So hinging at the hips, and then once you find your place of resistance, then tuck your chin to your chest or your throat. You can round the spine. Inhale to lift, arms extend overhead. Then exhale, slowly lower back to your back, Supta Baddha Konasana, where we started this practice. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. And just take a moment to soften back into this shape, noticing the differences, any shifts that may have taken place in your being, your body, your mind, since the last time you were in this shape at the beginning of our practice. And I'll just offer you to seal your practice however you would like to today. So I am going to take a happy baby. So reaching for my feet, drawing my knees up towards my armpits, keeping the spine long, low back seal to the mat, chin slightly tucked to the chest. You can certainly take any other stretch or movement that you like to take to make your practice feel complete. And then as you're ready, extend your legs long. Let the toes fall open from the heels, taking up some space here. Backs of the hands come to the mat. Sending softness into all final places, your eyebrows, your eyelids, your jaw. Softening into your shoulders, out through your arms and fingertips. Hips out through your legs and toes. You've put in the work of your asana and your pranayama, your postures and your breath. All in preparation to create the space for alignment and for stillness here. So now in your shavasana, just urge you to witness yourself in stillness and in silence and receive the benefits of your practice. This is where I'm going to stop my video, but I hope you can stay in Shavasana for as long as you can. And thank you so much for joining us for a little hip opening sequence, and I'll see you back online very soon. Namaste.